also have a little volume. So in a way, I guess it looks up to me. And because I'm the first generation to go to school, yeah, it's a responsibility.
You feel responsible for showing them something different. Okay. Alicia, Isaac? How far did your parents go to school? Third grade. How far did your parents go to school, Lisa?
My dad, he graduated from high school, and he's from Mexico. My grandpa came out first from Mexico, and then my grandpa came out here to work. He had his money, so when my grandma and my uncle were back came out, they had something. They came out here to have a better life. You know, and my dad set a good example for us to go to school and, you know, to do good. Even though it was hard to be as a little kid, to like yell at me and stuff, to get stuff right, but it was very hard for me to learn because he didn't know how to learn disability. It was hard for me to read and do math and do yell at me every day very fast. You know, but he didn't know how hard it was for me to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I look up to my dad. You know, he's a very successful person. He works very hard for us. You know, he works hard to keep in Mexico. And his dad, you know, had to cross the borders in the water and everything. You know, he's like a hero to me, my dad. He's my hero.
Yeah. Wow, these are some powerful stories, and they're all connected right to your schooling experience and how much our parents go to school and how much they don't, right? So I have another question in terms of the reading. I heard that you all read a lot in this class, right? Sometimes I think about how much you must have read to become these experts. Did you get bored reading all this history? What was it like?
I don't know if boring is the right word to use, because it was never boring. It was always interesting to learn about the things that I hadn't known about before. It was always nice to educate myself through literature. Me personally, I love reading, so maybe that's why. But it was never boring. At times, maybe it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do the most of my time, but it was still nice. It was good.
Okay. Anyone else? What did it feel like to read as much as you read to become these experts? This is worth it? You feel like it changed a lot?
It was interesting. Yes.
Sometimes you would read the books and then you get mad at what they say.
You'd be mad at what's actually in the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different emotion when you read about it, and you read about the history, and things that you never learn about, things that you wouldn't normally learn about in like your stereotypical like school textbooks. You know, in school textbooks, things are always perceived as like everything is perfect and everything got along, and there was some fights here and then, but it never really gets into like all the tragedies that people can go through in the series. So
Yeah.
it's nice to kind of like open your eyes and be conscious about that history.
Yeah, I heard that this reader was like really fat and that it was like college text and you guys had to look up a lot of words that were really big and confusing, and sometimes even that the dictionaries in your classroom, because they were not college level, they didn't have some of the words that you had to look up, so you had to go and look them up on your phones and stuff like that, right? But by the end of a semester, you all read the whole thing, right? So that's kind of impressive. An audience, round of applause, I would say, right? Round of applause for reading an entire reader, right? In a semester. You did too, yeah? All right, audience. audience members also read a whole reader, right? It's kind of impressive, right, the idea that you can read that much, right? Coming from the history of your own personal schooling, the history of your people, right, who don't really read that much, who don't go to school that much, right? It's really impressive. So I thank you all for coming out here and sharing your experience with us. One last question, which is, what advice would you give, any history advice, any personal advice, would you give a student who's struggling to read, who's struggling to be in their history class, who probably just struggles to go to school? What would you say to them? What would be some advice to them?
Motivation.
I know me personally, whenever I've asked people what advice they could give me for certain improvement in things in my life, I hear it a lot, and at times it really angers me because I've heard it so much before, and I kind of want a more detailed answer, but I have said that it's true, and that's just keeping at it. Persistence, I mean, if you don't keep at it, even if it's something you don't like or it's difficult, if you don't keep at it, you're never going to improve it, you're never going to grow. You're always going to stay at the same place you are.
Yeah.
So that's keeping at it.
Awesome, awesome. Anyone else advice?
I would say the same focus, you know it's hard to set your mind to it, you want to use it and use it.
Find all those negative stuff and push them away so you can focus on the positive stuff. That's what I do.
Push the negative stuff away, focus on the positive stuff. Cool.
It's really not that hard.
Is it that hard?
Even if it's not interesting, that's okay. To me, it's a little harder than I'm not interested in it. But most of the things, that's possible.
What advice would you give a student?
Just stay motivated and keep working.
Keep working at it. Okay. All right. So thank you, audience. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments for our panelists? For our experts?
What are you looking at me? What made you guys don't want to give up? Like, halfway through your class, and while y'all were reading that, like, because I mean, I know I had to too, and I was demand. So I'm just asking, like, I mean, what stopped y'all from, like, not wanting to give up and keep going? You know, like, what motivated you guys? What was your, I could put it this way, right? Like, what was your foundation?
My goals. Dreams.
Goals, dreams.
Yeah, I would have to say that, like, there was a lot of times during school year where I would feel like I was running on fumes and I just didn't have the energy to kind of, like, keep it together and do everything because my energy was, like, focused on different things and I wasn't using it the best I could. So there were times when I didn't feel like coming to school or even continuing with the work, but ultimately it was just the fact that, you know, I'm very inspired by my parents and the struggle they went through. I mean, they went through so much, and that they could go through that just so that I could be, you know, here and now, you know, having a decent education for myself. There was no reason why I shouldn't, you know, come to school. And also, like as I was saying, just having a dream, you know. I'm not going to get anywhere without education. Unless my dreams are to be working in a job,
if I want that, then I have to soak up all the knowledge I can. So where am I going to do that? At school. I'm going to be around other people that know more than you know.
That's cool, yeah. Anybody else? Any questions for our expert?
Have you guys heard of the IC3 program across the street at Mastery? Have you heard of Escalera? So Pepsi sponsors this IC3 technology certification, and if you want to do Escalera, you have to do the technology certification, even if you don't like technology. So given what you said about colonization, and they're kind of like forcing students to get this certificate that they don't even necessarily want in order to do a program, how do we address those issues? Like, what would you guys recommend in your expertise?
So, like modern setting, yeah, I mean, I could see that possibly being an issue for students who aren't necessarily interested in technology and stuff like that. Like, why am I being forced to do this? And this is ultimately something I don't want to do. And, I mean, I think the lines can be very blurred at times, but when it comes down to things like technology, I think it's a little different because although it may not be something that a student necessarily wants to do, that's just the direction that the world is moving in. You know, like that is the new, like the big drive, you know, that a lot of jobs are focusing on. And it's not necessarily like, hey, like you don't have to do this. Like we understand that you may not want to do this, but like it's always nice to just have that extra skill set.
Do you think that priests in the Christian church might have said the same thing to Native Americans when they arrived? That's just the way the world's going.
Yeah.
It's what you need to survive.
Yeah. Can technology be the new form of colonization?
Yeah.
You're saying it right now. Everybody on the phone.
Yeah, when we impose a way of living and thinking and experiencing life through these gadgets, as opposed to what it was before, right? Where it was you had to learn how to talk to people, right? You had to learn how to write, how to read, right? You had to learn how to make eye contact, how to shake someone's hand, things like that, right? There used to be like etiquette, right? Like classes where you would learn how to like eat at a dinner table because you would at some point sit somewhere. Yeah. There used to be things like that.
They still do those. I had to do a business etiquette dinner in college.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back to the whole technology piece, I think it is the case. You're right. Like lines do get blurred. And in situations like that, I think things have changed in the sense that, at least coming from a school like Ruby, you know, we are encouraged to express our voice and to share that. And if that's the case where a student really doesn't want to go through that, and they really think that's not necessarily the case, that is in their education, then I mean, by all means, they should be motivated by that to, you know, test that. You know, use your voice and say, listen, I appreciate what you're trying to do for me, and I appreciate this opportunity, but ultimately this is not something that interests me, and I don't want to do it. So, I think it could be either way.
People should say what they want to say.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
Because the thing is, like now, you protest something, you use your voice. I mean, back then it was like colonizers and it was religion. Like, if you were to do that, like, that's cool. Like, we'll just kill you.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But here now, I mean, it's something that's actually very, like, it's great. Like, people like seeing that. Like with a sit-in that I recently heard about. You know, like a lot of the administration was like, hey, like, we understand you guys are dissatisfied, but we're happy that you're voicing your opinion, and we're happy that you're using your voice. So, thankfully now, you know, if we give our input on something, we won't necessarily be told.